specifications and that can sell at a lower price because of lower overhead. Our generic brands include Wolfhead, Coastal, AutoGuard, and Lubriguard. Buy these brands and you cut your costs. See Putnam Distributors, 1626 Peterson Drive, Patterson Springs.
Good morning. It is time now for the Community Profile on this Monday, the 2nd of December, 2013. Hard to say that, and now it's almost over. We're going into 2014 before long, Sandy.
That's right.
So we're proud to have with us in the studio a special guest today who we've had here before and we'll hopefully have back again time and time again. If you will, Sandy, our co-host and executive producer of the Profile, would you please introduce our guest today?
I'll be glad to. It's always an honor to have our esteemed sheriffs in the community to come and sit with us a while. And Sheriff of Lincoln County, David Carpenter, it's good to have you, David.
Thank you, Sandy. It's good to be here. And thank you, Milton. I appreciate y'all having me back. This is, I guess, my third appearance with you since I've been the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
For the past 36 months in Lincoln County, and appreciate the positive impact that y'all give us on the news and stuff like that, and reporting what we got going on in Lincoln County. It means a lot to our agency and our officers.
Well, been reading a lot about what the agency has been doing in the community as far as taking care of the bad guys, so to speak, and even read on Facebook today that you were in the parade yesterday in Lincoln, and a lot of folks waving and congratulating you on the job well done.
Actually seen the Hastings there at the parade with the big RV from Big O Country,
mm-hmm.
and but the Christmas season does bring about the many parades that we have to go, or I enjoy going through. And yesterday I had my daughter with me, and one thing, if you're going to be in a parade, you got to have a pretty gal with you, and she was with me, and I was proud of that. But I guess mostly humbled by the support of the community as we were going through the parade, the thumbs up and the people saying that the good job that you're doing and our team's got going on, and I tell you, it really makes you feel good. It really makes you feel good. It's a lot better than people hollering or cussing at you. So,
oh yeah. My daddy, he's been gone several years now, but he taught my brother and I to always respect law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime, no matter where we were, if he passed an officer or a sheriff or whatever, he stopped, shook their hand, told him he appreciated the work they do.
That's very nice.
And we do that also, and I was raised doing it for our military people. They might think I'm nutty to stop dead in my tracks, but I just say I want you to know I appreciate what you do.
Oh yeah, I actually do that too. And anytime I run into somebody in the armed services, you stop and thank their hand or shake their hand, thank them for their service. But we appreciate that. We nowadays you see changes of generations,
mm-hmm.
where kids are raised a little bit different now than what we were, and what my mom and dad were raised, and it's just hard sometimes for us to understand what we have coming up around us. I guess it's the downfall of the family, so to speak, but we just hope and pray that somewhere along the way they'll see the right from the wrong, and be able to maybe turn from their bad ways if they're doing bad. But it's a challenging world that we live in now.
Mm-hmm. Very challenging.
David, just a couple of weeks ago, the big arrest all over the news and newspapers, et cetera, radio and TV, the top 40 arrests. That must have been quite some operation and took quite some time to coordinate all of that? 40 individuals arrested, drug charges, all
Right.
of them?
It was 40 individuals that were indicted on numerous different drug charges, and some of them were trafficking offenses, which is a major offense where a person has a mandatory sentence in prison for what they're doing. I always let our drug team commander to name these different operations that we do. We do them about every 6 months, and he called this one America's Top 40 or our Top 40, and it's not the actual top 40 drug dealers in the county, but it's 40 individuals that we have actually done undercover deals with and indicted them and made arrests on. We haven't totally rounded up the entire group at this time, but we're working at it every day to get them.
Yeah. So something like that, how long does an operation like that plan? How long's the planning stages for something like that?
We've already started on our next deal, but we usually try to run them about every 6 months. You don't really want to overload the court system with so many offenders that you indict at one time to where you have Superior Court just loaded. There's thousands of people on our Superior Court docket, even in little Lincoln County. So we try to work real well with our district attorney's office and not overload them and keep the drug dealers on their toes too, and let them know that we're out here seeking out those that they're doing bad and selling dope.
You know, we've heard from other counties in Lincoln County. I guess they have their routes too, but certain thoroughfares bring drug traffic through a county, like an interstate or something like that. In Lincoln County, is it the 4-lane 321? Is that a corridor?
We started out when I first became sheriff working US 321 and with a drug interdiction team and made several major arrests on 321, and we have within the last 6 months done that again with some arrests on 321.
Are you doing just random traffic stops, or I mean not traffic stops but traffic checks where every passenger through is checked?
Well, there's certain things you look for, and some things you can't.
We don't want to give that away.
Yeah, but there's certain things that a trained interdiction type officer will look for.
I see. Yeah.
And to establish the reasoning for being able to stop a vehicle.
Yeah.
And those have paid off very well in the past 3 years.
That's good.
But we're just glad to have a 4-lane highway now. We've got 2 of them through Lincoln County. They used to all stop at the county line years ago, but 321 and Highway 16, and that can be a major drug traffic route from anybody that's traveling north and south, maybe getting off the interstate and going another way or something. But that's what we've encountered. We've stopped a number of drug transports that were going northbound from through our county.
David, I know the department is, it seems to me, and I've heard other people mention it too, very visible. A lot more cars you see, especially where I live in Krause.
We like that.
Yeah, you're there. Yeah. You're around. I mean,
think when I was running for sheriff, I wanted to instill back into our officers the ability to work and know that your sheriff's going to stand behind you for an aggressive worker. To get the work ethic back to let's work and do our jobs and high visibility is a major deterrent to anything that's going on. But if you're going to have visibility and you see something going on, let's act on it and follow through on it. And it's really paid off. And I'm thankful that you say that our officers are out here patrolling and we have beefed up our districts that the county has and been able to make sure that we have a sufficient staff out here. I tell you, this is my 30th year with the county, and I've been totally blessed with manpower that we have, more than I've ever seen before, and we've been the commissioners and the county manager's been very kind to us, and we have probably the best vehicles that we've ever had in our fleet.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I'm proud of, being a taxpayer in Lincoln County, is we haven't increased our spending and have been, in my opinion, very frugal with what we've been doing there. I think folks will be proud. I am.
Well, Sheriff, have you noticed? Of course, we know that the drug thing is huge, but have you seen a lot in Lincoln County and of home invasions or anything like that?
I guess, knock on wood, we have not experienced a whole lot of those. We have had some in the time that I've been there, but we've been blessed not to have them. Sometimes those are gang related, and sometimes the home invasion involves a known drug dealer, and other drug dealers invade them to get what's going on there at the house. So we've been in pretty good shape. We haven't seen an increase in that here in Lincoln County, which I'm very glad of.
Oh, absolutely.
Hopefully it won't start today, but we've been very fortunate, I would say, with our close proximity to Mecklenburg County and even Gaston County and Charlotte. We would hope that we wouldn't have that.
Well, of course, the holidays is right here on us, and I know there's always that possibility walking to your car with your bags going from the mall.
Yeah, I went with my wife the other day, and I done the man thing. I sat in the car for a little bit while she went and shopped. And, you just
Sounds
sort of...
like somebody I know. Go ahead.
You just sort of sit there and watch folks that are going in, and they're not really taking the safety precautions that they should. Before you leave the store, you need to be prepared for going to the car and have your keys ready and not be fiddling in your pocketbook and stuff when you're out in the parking lot, and make sure all you're carrying is secure to you. We had an incident to happen several weeks ago where a senior citizen, no fault of hers, was going into McDonald's down at 16 and 73, and some subjects came up and tried and took her pocketbook from her and actually hurt her pretty bad. And something like that happens, let go of your pocketbook and let it go. Your life's a whole lot more valuable than what you may be carrying in your pocketbook. But read your certain safety precautions either around your home or when you're out going. If you're going alone, be extra safe, because what I stress to everybody is we live in an evil society. People are mean, and there's people out here that are waiting the opportunity to act on you and do something to hurt you. And so I encourage people to be extra safe, and especially now when you're maybe carrying some money on you going shopping. Or I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend charging everything and pay for it later. But and I am a strong proponent of the concealed carry law. Encourage good law-abiding citizens that you arm yourself and be prepared for what you may encounter.
Well, several years ago, I think it was around about Christmas time, a young lady came to my door saying she needed milk for her baby. And now you tell me a baby's hungry or something, I'm going to do everything I can. Well, I told her I had some milk. And she said, no, it don't drink that kind of milk. And I said, well, I've got some canned milk and I've got some powdered milk. No, it's got to have the kind you get at the store. She said, if you'll just give me the money, I'll go and buy the milk. And
a lot of times,
I was born, but not yesterday.
Oh, I know.
And I wasn't going to hand her money, but I did offer to go get the milk and give her. But people need to watch for that too.
That's what I tell people too, and we do it at our own home. Is first off, you wouldn't let anybody in your house that you didn't know. And it's not that it's being mean to people, but just make sure before you let somebody up in your house that you can trust them and know that they're not there to harm you or do something bad to you. And the second thing is not to give anybody any money. If somebody's wanting, you'll see people standing out that wanting money for this or that, but I'd always go buy them a bag of food or something and give to them instead of giving them money. And there's a way of helping folks out, but sometimes a monetary way of doing it is aiding their drug addiction or whatever they may have going on. So
Yeah.
Well, I didn't invite her in. She stood on my carport, but I
hate to
made
be mean to
several
people, but-
suggestions. Like the Baptist Association, and I'd even offered to call them for her. But bottom line, she wanted me to give her money, and I told her I'm sorry I didn't do that.
Right. Yeah.
But,
And it's usually $20. So
Yeah.
she wasn't too happy with me, but I wouldn't have been happy with myself if I'd handed her money, not knowing where it was going. So,
And with the holidays here, people try various scams year round, but especially the holidays is a time you might get a phone call, you might get a visit, give to this or give to that. And
one thing that I'm glad you brought that up, we really need to stress to folks is not to give anything out over the phone. There will be a couple organizations locally that will call. I know our local Fraternal Order of Police usually calls at Thanksgiving. They've already done it for a fundraising drive, and they'll not ask any private information over the phone. They'll send you a bill, and you can pay them that away. But don't give anything. It just breaks your heart to have the seniors that call in and say that I had someone call me and I give them all my information, and it was a total scam. And there's people out here doing that every day, and there's actually some folks that certain times of the year will have different things going on, and there's people that will go to people's houses try and do paving work. People that will want to do painting, want to clean out your gutters, want to do different things like that. And if you don't trust them, don't know them, they can't get a reference from them. If they won't leave, you can call us and we'll make sure they leave the area. But any suspicious activity like our folks in Lincoln County would see, I would encourage everybody to call 911 and give us the opportunity to check these folks out and see what they're up to. And most of the time they're up to no good.
Have there been any specific instances recently?
No, not any one type. We still continually have folks that will get phone calls from, and it's usually out of the country, that are calling wanting to do some type of phone scam or work out a deal where you can go to Western Union and wire them money for that you've won $1 million and you're going to give them $1,600 in change, in exchange for it. But nothing's free today. Water's not even free anymore. So
no, that's true.
Yeah. The old adage, sounds too good to be true. It probably is.
That's right.
And you're talking about the elderly folks. They grew up in a time. I mean, we've talked about this
where you could trust
before.
people.
They grew up when they trusted people.
Oh, my mother's
they offered
such a trusting soul.
come in the house, this and that, and so sometimes and there are the on the level. There's things out there that are on the level that are real.
Yeah.
Real.
Most of those you will be able to substantiate or justify what they got going on. Somebody that's shady, you're not going to be able to find out what's happening with them, and they're gonna take advantage of you. And just encourage everybody to be very, very careful with what they got going on at home.
That's right.
Well, my mother's 87 years old.
My goodness, that's great.
And her health's not been that great lately, and I worry about her because number one, she doesn't hear that well, and someone calls and she told me the other day I won $20, and I said, you did? She said, this man said I did, and I said, Mother, you didn't give out any information, did you? She said, no, but he knew my name. And that kind of bothered me. I said, well, Mother, nobody's going to call and just give you $20. So
That's really shaky, really scary.
Well, with the the year 2013, as we said in the beginning, wrapping up 2014, just around the corner. What's every day is different, I guess, in law enforcement. But some of the things you're planning to institute in 2014, any new things coming up for the sheriff's department?
Well, we I guess we're going to wait and see and hope for the best as far as the economy goes. Anytime in January we start our budget preparations for the fiscal year that ends June 30th, and we have to see exactly what we're wanting to add or take away, and a lot of that falls on the economy, on exactly how we're going to be able to afford what we've got going on, and one thing that I sometimes worry about is how the county's going to be able to afford the upcoming health care deal, and so we really don't know exactly where we're going to stand on that. And I've got about 164 folks that we'll just have to wait and see. My budget runs about $11 million, and over the past 36 months, I've been able to underspend that budget. One year was $500,000, and next year was about $300,000, and then about almost $200,000 last year. So we're trying to save as much money as we can, and but as far as anything grand or anything like that, we're just wanting to keep what we've got in place going on as far as our computer systems for our cars and outfitting our officers with the best technology that we can have today, and we've been in a catch-up mode, so to speak, since I came in, and we're continuing to do that as piecemeal as we can by utilizing our monies the best that we can. And so next year starts an election year, and that's always interesting. But we'll see how things go.
Yeah. All right. Well, great. Well, appreciate you coming in and speaking with us today, and just touching base with the folks out there. Do you get a chance to talk to the citizens of the community face to face, in person, at meetings, groups, and things like that?
On different occasions, I do that. Of course, I attend about all our chamber functions that we have, and that's a good networking issue with the business community and some private individuals that are there, but one thing that I always stressed was to be very visible to the public and accessible, and of course I do use the social media, Facebook, quite a bit, and we actually implemented one for our office within the last couple months, and it's really took off really well, but as much as possible, I'm there for the public to be able to answer any questions they may have or complaints they may have.
One thing I do want to bring up, I might embarrass you here just a little bit, but you and I do go back a little ways to some high school days. I'm a little bit older than you, but I think you and a few others had a reunion just recently.
Yeah,
I believe there was a member of my family at that. My sister-in-law was in your class. Did you guys get around all right? Did you have to have help getting in and out the building or anything like that?
We didn't have any walkers or
or anything,
or canes or anything like that at this time. But I'm not sure the 35th may be the one that. But yeah, we had a good time.
Now, which reunion was this?
It was West Lincoln's.
Your
class 83.
I guess you're 30th. Yeah.
Everybody I've asked, I'm older. But let me introduce this. Now I have to, what I'm gonna say. Back about a month or two ago, there was an article in the Far City Courier, and an officer in Rutherford County was doing his traffic stuff, and he pulled over an SUV. And who steps out of that SUV but Michael Jordan?
Oh yeah.
And what would you, it just amazes me. he was just doing his job.
Yeah.
And why he stopped him, there's a law about tint
Mm-hmm.
on the windows,
Mm-hmm.
and his was just too dark. So that's why the officer stopped him. And so I could just imagine, and I did talk to that officer, and he said once he opened the door and he kept folding out of that car and folding out of that car, and he said he didn't think he'd ever get out.
Yeah.
But he said he was one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet, and apologized, and he said shook his hand, had his picture made with him, but
With the ticket.
he gave him a warning
Yeah.
ticket.
Oh, okay.
Okay, one.
Yeah, he now I'd have probably got a ticket $9 million, but
Yeah.
now Michael Jordan, he did give him a warning
Yeah.
ticket. But so maybe you never know, Sheriff. Maybe you might stop somebody one day, and might be Roger Staubach or.
Well, I mean, Lincoln County is pretty fortunate to have a couple, few folks. Paul Silas, I've met him. He lives in Lincoln County, and
Mm-hmm.
met him on occasion at some functions that's went on, and his name leaves me right now. But one of the NASCAR drivers lives on the eastern end of Lincoln County too.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his wife.
Oh.
Yeah, and
You never know.
yeah, I can't remember, but right now his name. But yeah, he lives down there, and actually sent us some stuff for Christmas last year. Very nice folks.
That's good.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to
But,
find out where they are so they can see
Never
us.
forget where you come from.
That's
what I've
right.
always said, and it pays off.
Yeah.
But Milton, I thank you again. It's always
Yeah.
good to see you, and it sort of grates on my wife because she hears it all the time. But we did ride the same school bus.
We did ride
together.
the same school bus.
And I'm tickled with that, and the friends you make, being hometown boy. It's just it's something.
And lifetime friends too.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Those are the best kind.
Well,
Oh yeah.
Best wishes to everyone there for happy, safe holidays and a great new year coming up. And we'll
You
certainly have you
changed the
back.
subject on that deal on politics, didn't you? On the election thing, you cut me off on that.
Oh,
but
did I really?
No, I'm just picking. I'm just picking. But
Can you tell
we have the equal opportunity
no,
airtime thing.
I'm just picking with you.
But Sheriff, we wish you the very best and stay safe.
Okay.
And to all your officers and any of the other officers in our surrounding counties.
That's one thing that, and sometimes it's tough sleeping at night because I got folks out here that's doing my job for me. That's what I'm supposed to be doing, and I had a former person one time said that what did you worry about the most, and one of them said that they were worried about an officer getting in trouble or doing something wrong. But my worst worry is not one of my folks getting hurt on the job.
Yeah.
And so that's the scariest thing. But I appreciate it. We'll be safe.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you very much for coming in. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Keep up.
We'll have you back.
Keep getting the bad guys.
That's
you.
right.
Appreciate that.
Get them, throw them in the jail.
Sheriff David Carpenter from Lincoln County, our guest today on the Community Profile, Sandy. And tomorrow we have Miss Jackie Sibley coming in.
Yes, we do.
Jackie Sibley will be here from Cleveland County Tourism, and she'll be talking about things
She will, coming up
going
in
on
Shelby.
in Shelby and Cleveland County during the holidays. Wednesday, we have a young lady who was scheduled for last week, but the inclement weather kept her from being here, Miss Pamela Allison.
Pam Allison. will
She's
be
a
here.
singer. And
in the next few weeks, we've got a lot of good shows coming up.
week
so,
from today, Doug Mays will be here.
Yes, and hopefully.
And Doug has asked us to try to get a couple other folks to come and be with him that day, so we're working on that. Doug's birthday is the 12th of December, everybody. Remember that. And he'll be 92.
I'll go ahead and say sometime in January, there's a strong possibility Mr. Mountain Man's going to be here.
The real Mountain Man.
The
Eustace
real Mountain
Conway. We had a lot of fun with Eustace last week. We even played his show twice last week.
Oh, yes.
So
Had a lot of good compliments.
yeah. All right, folks. That's it for today. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.